right, bridal magazines. In spite of all the online resources, one of the first things that the bride does when the ring goes on the finger is to go out and pick up the bridal magazines. You have your national magazines and you have your local magazines. National magazines, you're probably not going to be advertising in. The local ones, absolutely. In every market, you have at least a couple of local magazines. You can do well with any of them. But if you don't want to do all of them, how do you choose? You need to look for the ones that have the highest circulation and the best distribution. And by distribution, not a lot of them get on the newsstands. Most of them are distributed through bridal shows, through retailers, through various places. If you are out there looking for that publication and you don't see it, chances are the bride's who's not looking for it, who's just going to happen upon it, she's not going to find it either. So just look for what's working. Look for the ones that you see out there on the streets when making that decision. If you don't have the resources to create a great ad, don't do an ad. No ad is better than a bad ad. A bad ad can be negative. It can turn people away. At least with no ad, it's at least neutral. You're not gaining customers, but you're not losing customers. A bad ad is worse than no ad at all. So if you're going to do an ad, invest the money to have that ad done professionally. Wedding websites. There are many wedding-related websites. Most of them offer some sort of free listing, and those that do tend to have hundreds of free listings. Most of them offer more prominent paid advertising. By getting your message out there on a bunch of different websites, that's a good thing. Don't expect miracles, particularly in the 3rd and 4th and 5th and 10th tier websites, but it helps your search engine rankings, and you can snag a bride here or there. But when it comes to paying for advertising, I would suggest that you only advertise on websites that generate a lot of traffic, and that narrows it down to not very many. Do a Google search for your type of business, the words that a bride would use when she is searching for you. Consider advertising on the directory sites that show up in that search on the first page. If they're not showing up there when brides are searching for your type of business, they're not going to find it and you're wasting your money. Some wedding websites contain reviews of wedding professionals, and this has caused a dramatic shift in bride buying behavior. Until recently, wedding vendors who didn't do that great of a job could still get business because they were relying on the fact that every year you have new brides that don't know better. Reviews have changed that. You need to encourage and bribe and beg your brides to write great reviews for you. And more importantly, you need to do everything that you possibly can to avoid the bad ones, even the 3s. You don't want those. Here's the thing. Brides tend to be younger and tend to not be very sophisticated consumers. We learn over time how to become a sophisticated consumer. So if you're going on a trip and you go on TripAdvisor and look at reviews, if you do that often enough, you're going to learn, okay, it's like the Olympics. You throw out the high scores and you throw out the low scores and you look at the ones in the middle. What I have found is that most brides don't look at it that way. You have one bad review, in their mind it's going to be, well, what if I'm that one bride that gets burned by this company? You have to do everything you can to keep those bad reviews. And even if you think you're right, or you know you're right, and you did nothing wrong, you still got to suck it up, hold your nose, and do something to get that bad review off. Whatever it takes to make that happen, well, the cost of that will pay for itself many times over by not, in future business, by not having that bad review on there. And if you ever post a response to a bad review, be very, very careful when you do that, because that can do as much or more damage than the review itself. If you get on there and kind of assault the bride who wrote the bad review, it makes you look even worse, and it makes it kind of give some validity to the bad review. All right, moving up to near to the top of the pyramid. You know, I would talk about this one, bridal shows. 97% of brides will not make a major product or service decision or purchase for their wedding without a face-to-face meeting. Of all of the forms of advertising, bridal shows are the only one that offers that face-to-face personal connection right from the very beginning. Print advertising, direct mail, websites all rely on the wedding professional to throw their message out there and pretty much wait for the bride to respond. With bridal shows, you get instant interaction with the bride. She gets to taste your cake. She gets to smell your flowers. She gets to see the true beauty and quality of your photographs. And most importantly, she gets to meet you. Make no mistake, more than anything, you are selling you. The bride will only buy from you if she likes you, if she trusts you, if she feels confident in you. Bridal shows are the only marketing vehicle that allows you to get that face-to-face contact right from the beginning and reach hundreds of prospective customers face-to-face in a few hours. If you sell a unique product or service, something that the bride doesn't even know exists, she's not going to search for you on Google. She doesn't know you exist. At a bridal show, things that a bride did not even know were out there become things that she really wants for her wedding in the space of a couple of hours. Bridal shows come in all shapes and sizes. They range from intimate boutique shows to large productions at convention centers. Some shows have been around for years, and new ones pop up all the time. Longtime show producers like Renee make this look pretty easy. Many new show producers, and there's nothing wrong with trying a new show, okay? If nobody tried new shows, I wouldn't be here, and Renee and nobody in this business would be here. But you just have to do it smart. Most show producers have no idea what it costs to attract a good audience, a sizable audience, and to produce the event. The most successful bridal shows are spending more than $50, $50 in advertising for every bride that walks through the door of the show. That is what it costs. And that's why exhibit space costs what it costs. If a show is really small, particularly if it's really small and doesn't charge a lot for their booths, that might sound like a great deal. But just do the math. They're not going to have the money to mount an advertising campaign that pulls in lots of brides. Look for shows with a successful track record. Shows that have been around for a while and have a record of success. Don't ask for references, just go on their website and call some of the people that exhibit at the show and see what they think. See if there's any buzz in the industry. See what people think about the show. And you know what, you wouldn't think you would have to do this. Call the venue that the show is scheduled at and ask them if that show is even going to happen. There are show producers that will start selling something when they have not even signed a contract with the venue. Because bridal shows, just do it smart. Do your homework before you invest your time and money. Because bridal shows, unfortunately, don't always look like this. Sometimes they look like this. And this brings me now to the top of the pyramid. The number one most important, most effective way to advertise to brides. And that is repetition. Brides shop for their wedding in different ways. So to effectively reach the bride, you need to advertise your business across as many platforms as you can do, as many as work for you, as many as you can justify financially. Your goal is to be noticed. And then once you're noticed, you need to gain credibility with the bride, with the hope that she will contact you. So how do you quickly gain credibility with the bride? The bride who needs what you sell and is going to buy what you sell from somebody but doesn't know you from the next company. It's simple. You buy it. You buy credibility in the eyes of the bride, and the currency with which you buy it is repetition. You buy credibility through repetition in your marketing. Here's how it works. The bride meets you at a bridal show. She then finds your literature in a bag of the stuff she collected at the show. Then she sees your ad in a bridal magazine. Then she receives an email from you. Then she gets a postcard from you in the mail. Then she does a Google search and finds your website. Then she reads your reviews. Then she gets referred to you from another company. In her mind, she sees you everywhere. And because she sees you everywhere, wow, you're important. You must be doing a whole lot of weddings and pleasing a whole lot of brides. She now at least wants to step forward, raise her hand, and find out a little bit more about why you're so great, because she's seeing you everywhere. You must be one of the top players in town. The only way to create this is to have a multifaceted marketing program. I said, you don't have to do everything, but you have to do a few things. If you're only advertising in magazines, if you're only doing bridal shows, or you're putting all of your energies into social media or your website, you're missing out on the opportunity to build this credibility through repetition. You must market yourself in multiple ways. The more times the bride gets hit with your message, the more chances you have to hit her hot button, to get noticed, and to get her to contact you. You have many options when it comes to advertising your business. The only way to determine what is working, the only way to allocate your advertising dollars in the way that will get you the best possible end result is to ask every bride a simple question. By the way, how'd you find out about us? It's a very simple question. No one will hesitate to give you the answer. You will learn through that answer what's working in your advertising. You'll also learn how to sell to that bride. It's a very important thing to learn. So let's say you've got a new bride comes in and talks to you, and you ask her, hey, how'd you find out about me? And she says, well, let me tell you. My best friend used you for her wedding, and her wedding was awesome. My wedding's going to be more awesome, but hers was pretty good. All right? We have been friends forever, and we like a lot of the same things, and she loved working with you. Couldn't say enough about you, and you know what? I want to hire you for my wedding, and I don't really care how much it costs. You will treat her a little bit differently than the bride has said, damn, there's 500 wedding photographers right in this town on Google. I'm contacting every one of them. How much is it? All right, you're going to treat those brides completely differently. And the only way to know how to treat them is to figure out where they came from. Simple question will give you that answer. Keep track of where your calls are coming from. And more importantly, keep track of where those calls that lead to sales come from, because that is even more important. Pick the combination of advertising methods that works best for you. Focus a lot of effort on your content and a lot of effort on your message. Test things, continue to try new things, and you will have success.